Hi there, Becky Christopherson, Violin Guru here. I'm so glad that you've decided to play the violin, and I'm excited that you chose me to help you on your journey. Today we're just going to go over the basics of how to hold the instrument. It takes a couple of weeks and a lot of repetitions to be able to do it comfortably and easily. So you can go on and watch other videos in the meantime, but the exercises that we go over today should always be your warm-ups. So I'm going to start with the violin. I'm going to put my bow down. So in the violin, we have many different parts. It's shaped like a person. Instead of a head, we have a scroll. We have 4 pegs, one for each of the strings. And if you look in the peg box, you'll see that each string is wrapped around one of the pegs. These are tuning pegs to help the strings have the right sound. They are for your teacher. It takes a couple of years to be ready to use the pegs, and they're only for really big adjustments. Then we have the neck, and under the neck there are shoulders, just like you. There are 4 shoulders, though, on the violin. This black part is called the fingerboard, and these black lines around the edge are called the purfling. So then the strings go from the peg box down the violin over the bridge. It is only the tension of the strings that's holding the bridge in place, not glue. So if your bridge ever falls over, please ask your teacher to fix it. Don't try to glue it back in place. And then we have fine tuners that are in the tailpiece. The fine tuners are what we use most often to tune the violin. But in the beginning, really your teacher is going to help you with that until they think you're ready to start tuning the instrument yourself. Then we have the jaw rest or the chin rest, a button, and around that button is a rope. That rope is attached to the tailpiece and holds it all together. Looking again on the front of the violin, we have 2 F-holes, and that's where the sound comes out. And if you look through the F-hole, tilt it a little bit this way, you should see a label on the back of the violin telling you who made your violin, where it was made, and what size it is. And then you'll see a stick in the middle, and that's the sound post. So the sound post is held in place by the tension of the bridge, which is held in place by the tension of the strings. So again, if your bridge does fall over, if your strings get loose and the bridge falls over, ask your teacher to fix it right away, because then if the bridge is gone too long, the sound post can fall over, and then you have a real repair on your hands. But fixing the bridge is something that's easy to do that your teacher will be able to do quickly. So those are the front parts of the violin. We also have the side, we have the back. I have a shoulder rest. It's called a Kuhn shoulder rest is the name brand. You probably have a sponge, and that's great as long as the sponge is big enough to go across the whole back. And it's held in place by rubber bands, so it's not sliding around. You do need something back here to support you to keep the violin stable on your shoulder. So to put the violin on your shoulder, it's easiest if you take your left hand and you hold the shoulder. And then you put the violin by your ear and then just slide it down to rest on your shoulder. Find a spot where it feels balanced and where it looks like a tabletop. So you don't want it pitching this way, you don't want it down here. You don't want it too far this way, pointing up or pointing down. You want to just drop it straight down from your ear onto your shoulder so it's straight like a table. Now turn your nose to look at the scroll and drop your head on the chin rest or the jaw rest. You'll notice it's really my jaw that's in the chin rest. If I put my chin in it properly, I'm turning my head pretty far, and I'm really stretching my neck a lot. So even though it's called a chin rest, we treat it like it's called a jaw rest. So let's put the violin down, shake out a little bit, Good. Take the shoulder, put it by your ear, drop it down, find the balance point, turn your nose, drop your head. Now this time let go with your hand and see if your head can hold it. We don't want the hand to have to hold it because the hand is going to be busy playing. And put your hand back on the shoulder and put it back down. You can tuck it under your right arm to be able to shake out your hand. That's called rest position. If you're in orchestra, your teacher is also going to call rest position, where you put your violin on your lap like that. If you tuck it under your arm, make sure that your arm is behind the bridge, not on top of it. Okay, so let's do that again. Violin on the hand on the shoulder, up by your ear, drop it down, turn your nose, and let go. So you should practice that until you're comfortable holding it for an entire minute. So start with 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 20 seconds, until you can feel comfortable for an entire minute. You don't feel like the violin's slipping, like it's gonna fall. It's not sliding around. So that's gonna take you a couple of weeks, doing just a little bit every day. 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds. Increase it every day until you can get to a minute. And when you can hold it for a minute, then you know that you know how to hold the violin properly with your head, and you can drop this exercise from your daily practice list. Now we're going to do the bow. So the bow has many parts as well. This white stuff you probably know is called the horsehair. It comes from the horses, and it gets dirty very easily and it can't be washed. So you want to make sure that you don't touch it. Always hold the bow by the stick, or preferably here at the frog. When you're in rest position, you can make a hook out of your pointer finger and just hook the bow right on your finger. You don't have to hold it. So the horsehair is tight when we play it, but it has to be loosened when we put it away. And the way we do that is with this screw right here. So if you turn the screw counterclockwise towards you, you'll see that the hair gets loose and the stick relaxes. So whenever you put it away, you want to make sure that the hair and the stick are relaxing. But you can't play that way. So when you get it back out, you're going to turn the screw away from you clockwise to tighten the hair. And you don't want to tighten it too much. You want to keep a little bit of bend in the stick. And it's wide enough just for your pinky to slide in there. No more than that. That's all you need. So then the screw is part of the frog. The clip is part of the frog. Then we have the grip and the wrapping. Your bow might have a grip where I have the grip and the wrapping, and that's fine. This is the stick. This is the tip. And this used to be the ivory, but now it's bone, or most likely plastic. And this is the middle of the bow, about halfway between the tip and the frog. And this is where we want to play in the beginning. It's the easiest place to get a good tone. So you might want to put a sticker right in the middle of the bow so that you know where you are for reference later. So to hold the bow, you're actually going to hold the stick in your left hand. So remember, I'm backwards. So take a minute and make sure that you're holding the bow in your left hand in the stick, with the tip going over to your left and the frog in front of the right side of your body. Got it? Good. So then take your right hand and flop them down, those fingers down on top of the stick. Don't take the bow right away. You want to be flopping close to your middle knuckles but kind of more in between your top knuckle and your middle knuckle, not below the middle knuckle. So I'm going to take that hand and I'm going to flop it down just right in front of those middle knuckles. And my fingers are going to flop over the stick. Now I'm going to bend my thumb so it's on the clip, and I'm going to drop my pinky right on top of the stick so it's curved. The cellists put their pinky down like that, but violinists use the pinky to balance the weight of the bow. It's going to feel heavy and it's probably going to fall off for a while. So again, this is going to take a couple of weeks, just like putting the violin up. So shake out, flop, add your thumb, add your pinky, check your arm to make sure that it's falling down from your wrist and not popping up. Let go with your left hand and see if you can hold the bow just with your right hand. It probably went like this. That's fine. Take the bow back in your left hand, shake out, flop, add your thumb and your pinky, check your arm, and let go. So again, you want to hold it for 5 seconds, shake out, come back. Over time, build to 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, and when you can hold your bow with your pinky in place and your thumb strong, and these guys not moving around and up here and everything, if they can just hang out there and hug the bow, if you can do that for a minute, then you're ready to drop this exercise from your daily practice. So you're going to plan on putting your violin up and building up to a minute that way, and making a bow hold, flop, thumb, pinky, arm, and building up to a minute there. You can go on to the other videos and learn how to do more cool stuff with your violin, but please do those 2 exercises every day until you're up to a full minute and you feel comfortable and confident that you know how to hold your violin well and you know how to hold the bow well. Happy practicing!